Hey you guys, welcome back to the studio. Thanks for joining us. Today I want to show you how to use our new hand building jig. Hand builders, I know you think we forgot about you, but we for sure didn't. So I'm going to go over the tools here that you need to make. A finished mug this size will probably hold, I'd say about 16 ounces. And so I'll teach you how to make this today. And then we have our new square rim cone that you can see what that does on the top, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the tools with you first. So here we have just some standard rubber ribs. Got a banding wheel. I've got our two rim cones here. I'm not sure which one I'll use. I might use both, we'll see. I've got our 12 3/4 and by 4.5 inch. This is a temporary stencil for us. We're gonna have a cutter for you, but for right now, this is what I'm gonna use to lay out the shape for that. And then we've got the cutter that goes with our jig, and that will give you the bottom that will fit perfectly on here like that. I've got a knife, a pin tool, I've got a rubber tip shaper for the inside seam, and I've got here a regular studio brush. I keep a little piece of saran wrap because I'll use this when I use my cutters so the clay doesn't stick. I think that's it. I've already laid in the pattern here on the slab. My slab is a little wet because I've been rehydrating it. I think you guys know how that goes. So we're just gonna go with it. This is probably a little soft for me to work with, but for today we're just gonna go for it. So I'm going to start off by laying down. We're gonna get 2 mugs out of this slab. And like I said, we will have a cutter available for you, so you don't have to hand make this and then hand cut it like this. You can just punch it out, which makes it nice and easy. So I'm going to come in as I'm hand building. I'm going to bevel this edge in, and then I'm going to repeat that same angle on this side so that seam lays nice and flat. Okay, so there is one. And then I'm going to use our bottom shape here. I like to use the saran wrap when I'm using my cutter. It keeps the edges really smooth, and it helps you to release the form without distorting it. If you have to push it out of the cutter, sometimes it makes the shape really wonky. I'm going to go ahead and add my maker's mark here to the bottom so I don't forget to do that later. It's just so much easier to do it while my form is flat. I'm going to dust my jig with cornstarch, and I'm going to also dust the slab with cornstarch. This helps tremendously. This is a must-have step to release the form. The more wet your slab is, the more you'll have to use. So there's 2 keys here. The first key is the one you're going to use for step 1, and that's what you're going to use to shape. And what's really nice is that you can push your mug against the shape, and it's going to hold the round really well. When you're ready to remove it, that's when you're going to slide this key out, and you'll move it into the second slot, which is really kind of cool because then it makes your form smaller and easier to slide out. So we're going to have this facing up. We're going to have this part facing up. Okay, now comes the fun part. You're going to want to wrap your slab around the jig. This gives it so much support. Here you'll see that my slab is a touch too big, so I'll want to adjust that. Just take your knife and cut that opposite bevel. So when you are joining this seam, you're always going to get a bump. So what you want to do is press the seam in as best you can on the outside. And then when you smooth it in on the inside, it will reduce the bump of the seam there. I go ahead and I roll my finger up over the seam. This doesn't bother me. I feel like when I'm hand building, I like to have signs that this was made by hand. And I feel like the seam just kind of gives that charm. So I will take a tool and I will actually enhance the seam there. Not only does this compress it, but I feel like it gives it just kind of that um, paper over paper hand built look. You can use the jig as a guide and cut that top excess off. Having a nice even rim is important, but I don't obsess over it. Okay, it's almost time to take the key out. I'm just checking the bottom here. So you'll want to slide the key out, and this is how you are going to release the jig. You're going to want to pinch at the top, and you can see it kind of separates away from the wall. If it gets stuck, you'll want to go to the bottom and make sure that the bottom is also squeezed tight together. So if you're having a hard time putting the key in, you have to make sure that the bottom is squeezed as well.
So the reason I did that here was to give myself some give on the bottom. So I didn't remove the mold completely. I'm just giving myself an edge to work with to apply the bottom. So I'm going to slip and score. I usually use vinegar when I'm attaching, but today I just have water and that works fine too. You'll want to score both sides. Um, some people use slip, and that's great. I just use water or vinegar, and I only wet one side of the pot. So I'll take my studio brush and I'll make sure that I'm wetting those really deep grooves. Now, this bottom will fit on flawlessly because you will have used the cutter that we provided. My slab is, I don't know if I said this, but it ends up being about a 1/4 inch thick. So that will give you the perfect bottom here. Now, from here on out, as I'm working with the bottom, you'll see I'm really kind of pushing a lot because you want to make sure that that bottom is attached. I move the key again here. You'll see I pulled the key right out. I squeeze it in, and then I'm able to slide it right in. Again, if you're medium resistance, it's because your top of the key and the bottom of the key have not been squeezed in equally. So I am going to turn this over and I'm going to roll that seam. This is something I was never able to do without an inside form. The jig provides you so much structure that you can do things like this. You can manipulate your form without losing your shape. If I did this without the jig inside of there, I'd have an oval. I'd have a really oblong shape. And when you're compressing those joins, you're just making a stronger seam. You're just making a stronger mug. So I'm going to go ahead here, put it on my banding wheel, and I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to really treat that bottom seam. I want to make sure that my mugs don't leak, and this is a really important step to compress the clay down there at the bottom. Again, because I have the jig in there, it gives me a really firm structure. I'll go on to use our mini shark fin tool here. I love this foot tool. I'm taking it and I'm starting to cut in the bottom of my foot. Now, a common problem that I have with my hand-built mugs is that they look really clunky and chunky towards the bottom. This help alleviates it. So not only does the mini shark fin really add a nice bevel to the bottom, but it's also compressing your join. So it's going to make sure that you are not having any leaks, you're not having any cracks. This is going to give you the best shot at having a really solid bottom on your hand-built mug. Down here at the bottom, you'll see there's minimal cleanup. I will end up carving into this. I will flute my bottom as I do with my mugs. But honestly, after this is leather hard, you could just take this and sponge it over and your bottom would be good to go. You can manipulate this bottom as much as you want. I roll it around again. This is just further compressing, making it really smooth and helping me to bevel in the edge. Okay, time to take the key out. So I'm going to slide it right out. I'm going to make sure that I'm pinching the top and pinching the bottom. I hope you can get a good shot of this. If the bottom is wider than the top, the key will not slide in. If you have it lined up, you see how it drops right in there. So if you're medium resistance, just take the key back out and squeeze with your fingers. Now it's time to remove the jig from the mug. It slides out so easily. And you can see there's barely even any cornstarch left in there. So you're not going to have a huge amount to burn off in the kiln. And as I sponge the inside, that cornstarch will be almost completely gone. Now it's rim cone time. I tried to put our regular in, but that just wasn't the right size. So I had to step up to our XL rim cone. And what I'm going to do is insert the rim cone here, and I'm going to work on flaring out the lip of my mug. So I'm going to make sure I have a good fit. And as I'm squeezing, the rim cone will pop out a little bit. And you just kind of have to keep reseating it. And what this does is it allows me to flare out the rim while keeping a completely round rim on the inside, which is super helpful. So there you see, and you can add any detail that you want to this. I like to have it a little bit flared out because I'm going to belly out this mug. Now it's time to adjust the inside. That inside seam needs to be smeared back and forth. I'm just sealing that. And then I'm taking my rubber tip tool here and I'm gliding it along that inside. We've done so much work on the outside, we don't want to forget about that inside join. Go ahead and wet your studio brush, and you're going to want to really take your time here because if this join isn't done well, you'll get cracking down there. So you'll want to make sure you're compressing, not using too much water. I'm going to add my spiraling, so I'm wetting my brush. I'm adding even pressure and I'm just turning my banding wheel. So just because you're not on the potter's wheel doesn't mean that you can't add that cool little detail at the bottom. A banding wheel is so much fun and it's so easy to add these details with that. Okay, so let's start kind of collaring in right below our rim. So I'm going to insert the rim cone. I'm going to use it as a guide to make my rim nice and even. And then I will come through, you'll see with a sponge. The sponge is like the magic eraser, so it will take care of a lot of these imperfections here. So I'll go ahead and smooth that out. And I'll take my mini shark fin, and while the wheel is spinning, I'll have my index finger and my thumb supporting the rim, and I'll go ahead and compress and bevel in my lip. I really want to treat this lip well. You want it to feel good and not too chunky when people are drinking. Now I'm going to add a little volume to the mug, so I'm going to take my flexible red rib, that's a Mud Tools rib, and I will support from the outside, and I will take um, the rubber rib, and I'm just applying pressure and spinning, applying pressure and spinning. This might take a while until you get the amount of belly that you want. So I'm going to insert our rim cone again, and here's where I'm going to kind of squeeze right at the shoulder, and that's going to make the belly more pronounced. It's going to get my rim nice and round and even, and it's going to give it a nice silhouette to this mug. You can leave the mug straight up and down. That's totally up to you, or you can really give it a big belly again, or darting, anything that you want to do at this point. The rim cone is just there, not for perfection, but just to really help you get your rim back and round and keep it in the round. So we'll give this girl a little spin so you can see all the way around. Not bad for a hand built. The rim cone and the jig just make this job so much easier. If I would have done this without the jig, there's no way I could have maintained a form this easily and kept it this symmetrical. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.